Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth. So we could continue a run, but there's really no reason to. Um, yeah, I don't know where we are there. I'm meant to hit new game. Yeah, we're doing one last run. We got to Magdalene past, Mom's Heart and unlocked the co-op baby, so same thing we're trying to do with Cain now. These one last runs, it'd be great if we actually made them all the way to, like we got all of them past Mom's Heart. At that point, if that really happened, there's so little to do with Rebirth alone that it would be ridiculous for me to play the game even a little bit. Even just like occasionally thinking, hey, I want to play Isaac some more. And I suppose that is the situation that is true for a lot of games. Like, there totally are games that I've really enjoyed, but once you've just hit that level of completion with them, you're pretty much past the point of ever returning. There's just no going home again. Wow, the range on Cain here is slow, and the range is really low and the shot speed's low. But yeah, there's a lot of games that I just couldn't imagine going back to it. Of course, you could always delete a save file, and Isaac even encourages that by giving you 3 different save files. From the idea of, I guess, that there might be 3 different people who would want to play on different profiles. Although on Steam, I don't think that really matters too much, because on top of the number of save files the game has, you can probably make multiple profiles on Steam and then have family share enabled on Steam. Steam really fails to talk about the fact that family share exists as an option. Alright, that was slightly risky, but it paid off nicely. Family share on Steam lets you pretty much play any game in your library, and anyone in your family play any game in your library. You can't play it together, though, only one person at a time, but that wouldn't be too bad for most scenarios. And if you were going to try and play co-op, you still probably could just buy a second copy of the game and put it as being owned by 2 separate profiles, and the save files obviously would be different for different profiles. There is a Steam Cloud that lets you copy over most save files, assuming the game has Steam Cloud support, but that doesn't copy over to different profiles in a shared family grouping. At least I don't think it does. I actually haven't messed with family sharing. Maybe the truth of the matter is it in theory works really well. In practice it works pretty terribly. We really haven't talked, as far as criticism, about the anatomical horror elements. I should have played the death card of this game. There really isn't a lot to say around it, though it clearly is inspired by some of the early 70s LSD art styles and the early 90s POG art style of designs. And then certainly some of the Cronenberg body horror movies, and movies like The Fly certainly also are inspirations in some of the ideas and designs here. And it would be I think, a fairly high challenge to... I'm just gonna let the haunt kill everybody. I think it would be a pretty high challenge to try and have a hyper-realistic version of this game where the graphics were 3D and showed that kind of level of body horror. At that point, you're playing something much closer to a more modern take on something like Dead Space. And I suppose for runs, playing like this very well may be the right way to play. It's just let Lil Haunt do his job and not take any damage. But you have to get fairly close to these guys. And certainly that's not something you can pull off if you're boss rushing. I think the small rock reduces your shot speed maybe a little bit, but probably not enough for it to matter. And it is worth blowing up rocks to get a bomb back. Yeah, I suppose there are a lot of horror movies, like The Babadook, I think is kind of a great example of a horror movie where you have a evil, scary presence that is just kind of made up whole cloth by a kid, whereas almost always in reality kids are afraid of some variation at the very least of what they've already seen. And what's already scared them. So skeletons, body horror. If Isaac knew what a teratoma was and could imagine such a thing, then that would be very odd. And a lot of these enemies are definitely just generic scary blobs of mass. Well, I think it's worth taking that. And now we've got a Cards Against Humanity. We could spend 15 cents for the ladder. It might be worth it to do that too. Just to guarantee our safety or the ability to reach a few more items over the entirety of the run. And I guess some of the real story around Guppy, for instance, the cat that inspired Guppy, I think really did die from cancer. So, yeah. There is possibly a narrative you could assume here that over the course of Isaac's young life, he had a cat named Guppy that did die from cancer. That is the point at which he would have run into a scenario where a lot of knowledge would have been learned about cancers, such as teratomas, which I think is a cancer. Which floor is this? Basement 2? Yes, you top this now. Yep, having a charge item like that usually will end with you running into the enemy once it runs out, once your invincibility runs out. But yeah. And then of course it's not just body horror, you have clearly fear of the mother. Is it worth it to take either one of these? I don't think it is. Well, let's see if we can maybe get some angel deals. If we're still eligible for that. I think kids probably are often just afraid of the unknown, shadows, general amorphous blobs. It's fairly difficult to, even in a video game, to depict that or tell a story around that. You want more concrete ideas and concepts for your narrative in a video game. Suppose what we could do, since there is a lot of rocks here, we'll just hold on to the Cards Against Humanity until the next floor. And we should go into the shop and decide what we're going to spend money on. This and then this, I guess, and then see if the super secret room is here. No, but we did get a key, so not a terrible trade. Of course, most game developers would take the meta narrative of this game, or the narrative of this game, and flip it back into its more traditional form factor, where there would be a child in danger and you would be the hero idol, the stereotypical hero saving a child. You could certainly do that. You certainly could make an Isaac 2 that went in that direction. Isaac gets trapped. Isaac needs to be saved. Or Isaac is the hero growing up now, and he's saving someone else. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is kind of the way Edmund McMillen decides to go, because, I mean, he's on his second child. It would make a lot of sense that his just mentality would be less of an edgy young male and more of a slightly older, slightly more mature. I'm gonna straight up die here. Like, cannot win. And if anything, maybe there is an argument that older people, men or women, let's just not gender it, maybe they shouldn't make video games. Like, even if the video game audience is as aged and old as the people developing it, maybe the young, ambitious people have just a better handle on what makes something interesting and fun, that they, in a funny way, particularly you can see it in like teenagers. Like, teenagers are more dramatic. Everything is life and death. Everything is a fight. That is your just typical teenager understanding of life. Not really seeing any large perspective or outside of themselves much. And of course I'm just stereotyping here and saying things that an old person would say, but it's not completely false either. So if you have an edgy teenager or a young 22-year-old programmer and they're putting out their ideas that are like a teenager's overly dramatic life and death concept, that's what video games are. That's what action movies are. When you start to be a more cool, calm, and collected adult and start thinking that way, it inevitably must influence the art you create. And I would say it almost certainly negatively influences the art you create. Let's see if we can blow up 2 rocks there. So yeah, I certainly have to say I'm very glad that a game like Isaac exists, and maybe in modern times, in 2021, 2022 times, whenever this is airing, maybe a game like Isaac would not have been allowed to be created or published on any platforms. I think we've got a good run here. This is basement 1, so there's kind of no reason to go any further with that. Just go ahead and pick up that coin. And yeah, there's probably, as far as game narrative creation goes, a middle ground where a edgy, ambitious, like, game programmer can throw out, or game designer can throw out their ideas and get a game made with, and have the passion behind it, and a more cool, calm, collected older person can add their knowledge and experience and help bring in the reins a little bit, and make sure that you're not going too crazy with a game, which we've also seen that happen, where there's just an incredibly high level of insanity in games happening, to the point where it becomes a ridiculous parody of something somebody would actually want to play. Okay. So I want to go in here and pop this pill. By doing that, we'll know what this is. It's a puberty pill, so it's not really worth it to go get the other puberty pill. I don't think it is, at least. Cain, I believe, is the character that starts with Lucky Foot and his luck up, and honestly, I don't think there's a lot, particularly in Rebirth, that synergizes around that. It sounds good on paper. It actually plays fairly poorly. He also starts with only 2 hearts instead of 3. Which there is definitely some basic simplicity around the idea of some of these characters, in which they start with 2 hearts instead of 3, or they start with 1 heart instead of 2. Very simplistic changes that still fairly drastically change things. So we need to try for a super secret room here. And Sun, heal card, pill, are you a wizard? We do know what a secret room is, but we don't have a bomb to get into it. There is a fairly well-known body horror movie called Videodrome that talks in part about just the idea of falling into a world of extreme by the 70s, 80s era concepts of extreme like pornography slash almost snuff films. Now, there's a movie called 8mm, which I think is way worse. That is actually about snuff films. Snuff films being movies that are allegedly supposed to show actual people being murdered. I'm not sure there ever were any widespread distribution of actual snuff films, though. It's just so much easier to fake something like that and sell VHSs off the back of a truck claiming something that's been faked than to sell the real thing and risk incriminating yourself and going to jail for the rest of your life. And if you're of age, I would recommend watching Videodrome once. There is a high chance you won't understand or like it, but it is a unique enough experience that I wouldn't recommend people missing out on it. At the very least, start watching the movie. If you can't handle it, turn it off at a certain point, I suppose. But it is, I think, somewhat around the lines of like Clockwork Orange. There was a lot of 70s movies that were pushing the edge, kind of trying to rebound from earlier era censorship that was extremely restrictive. Whereas nowadays there's still censorship, a de facto censorship around movies, but it doesn't at least feel as restrictive as it once was. And I suppose just like transformation body horror movies went the way of the dinosaur when you hit movies like Saw. In a lot of ways you could consider Saw a body horror movie, and the Saw series a body horror movie where you're seeing people sawing off their own feet and amongst lots of other things. But that is depicted so hyper realistically, and the outcome is expected to be the damage and the gore from that is usually not depicted at all, or depicted in just a cold clinical way. Whereas Videodrome, there's a guy that has a gun, he's holding a gun and it merges with his hand, and so he has this flesh-like gun hand for a part of the movie. And yeah, real surreal stuff. And I guess at the core of it, surreal artistry and imagery has become unwelcome amongst movies, because movies have gotten somewhat fairly dumbed down for a more general audience, and people don't have the patience or the interest in seeing or making movies that are not for everyone. Like, you only have to look at like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this is a great indication. The fact that I'm just kind of talking about movies now is a great indication that we need to wrap up the Isaac series. I have basically nothing to say about Isaac, and now I'm reverting to almost talking like I was when I originally made my first Isaac series and started my YouTube channel years ago. But yeah, when you look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that really should have been a niche movie series for a niche audience of comic book fans, and there logically should have been really at best twice as many of the, let's just say, 100,000 comic book readers, regular comic book fans out there. So 200,000 potential people at most would have seen any one of the Marvel movies, and that's not what happened at all. Instead, Marvel and Disney pushed it a lot, and they did their own thing, sometimes kind of just making a Marvel characters that were barely recognizable in comparison to the comic books. And they got a much bigger audience and made it much more popular. And oddly, for one reason or another, they really did not push anybody down the path of actually buying comics. Like, in a downright stupid way, really. It would have been very smart to have comics that felt like the movies when the movies were coming out, on sale outside of every movie theater. It would have been a lot smarter to try and ensure that the comic series of comic books in Marvel were of a high quality to be in parallel with the movies once the movies showed themselves to be money makers. Okay, we've got an Eternal Heart. We know what that is. We have enough going here. Here we have the broken the not broken stopwatch, which would maybe be an item we haven't actually gotten before. So it would be nice if I could get 6 coins. Is there really a way to get 6 coins? Okay. I'm gonna pop this. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna hit this. Now we fly. Tears down's no good. This also gave me an Eternal Heart, so if I don't take any damage, that would be nice. But it also kind of doesn't matter because we can just walk out of the room and get another Eternal Heart. So, unless there was a way to reset the floor with like a Forget Me Now, which I don't think is a pedestal item. I don't think there's anything that can be accomplished here. So you take this, shot speed up, take the 2 of spades, which would double your keys, take this, go in here. Now that we're flying and we have bombs, do we have possibly something more we could pull off? Let's see. Down here, and we could fly and we could put a bomb there. There's a health down. Yeah, with 1 bomb remaining, we would have needed to get 1 more coin. Still can't get into the challenge room. So you take this, and you pop this, and then you take this, just to find out it wasn't what you wanted. What is the pills? Well, they're in there, so I'm not gonna go back through that. Well, we're definitely not doing boss rush. The question is, are we gonna succeed, or is this gonna be one of those runs where, best case scenario, we mess up everything? Let's see. So we've got a 6 dice room. I think we take the 6 dice room. The only thing we'll think about is just possibly leaving things on the floor, which I don't think has anything to do with the 6. I think a 6 changes the items you have. Which could certainly lead to a big change. Also don't really know how much health I have. Yeah, we're just going quiet, trying not to die. Pick up the bombs, I guess. I guess I'm not really listening to myself here, because I keep picking up stuff. Yeah, it is difficult to play outside of your normal style of playing for Isaac. It's just those micro decisions certainly have to happen fairly quickly in your mind. Or you will just make the wrong decision and yeah. I think 4/4 is fine. HP up and regeneration. I think you take that. Nope, that was just HP up. Is probably still the right way to play it. And yeah, we'll just try to get as much items as possible. And then hit the 6 reroll after the boss fight. This is Caves 1, so that's fine. Of course, I took a couple hits of damage here. I could be half a heart from a victory, from death right now, and it would be fairly easy to not know that. Let's see. I guess we'll just go in circles. Just slowly going in circles. My little spider is not helping really. It took forever. We have enough bombs to check for a secret room here. Let's put a bomb here and see if there was a secret room there. Yes. So then that would let me into the shop. They're cheap. Okay. So we could get a 15-cent card item. Okay. It's probably better than any other offer we're gonna get. I don't think there's a lot of hearts sitting around. Otherwise, I should probably run around and pick them up before I die. What Kane really needs is probably something like the $3 bill. Something that just randomizes or changes the value of your attack. Something that might be affected by luck. I don't know if it really is. Otherwise, you have to get into more abstract ways of thinking and hope that a Kane run just has higher luck. Therefore, he ends up getting more health ups to adjust for his low health and more damage ups and more other items. I could definitely see him being a character to play if you wanted to specifically try and have a really good pill run. That's probably something that is somewhat connected to your luck. Let's see. This and shoot all the poops. Maybe we'll get petrified poop. I should not have touched that. Yeah, the odds of me getting out of this floor without taking damage is incredibly low. Maybe we could get a bomb, find a super secret room, and find another eternal heart. Otherwise, we're looking for soul hearts on the very first floor. Halo flies is nice and all, but I'm not gonna win the game for you. There went my eternal heart. For a second there, I thought I could still fly. If anything, this episode might just be an example of how some of these characters are not easy enough. Not for me, at least. As someone who considers himself a slightly better than average gamer, the challenge on some of these runs with some of these characters gets a little crazy. And if we're having this kind of level of difficulty with Kane, it's probably only going to get worse when we start trying to do Azazel and Blue Baby. The lucky runs that may have happened in the past for a character like Kane may be just impossible to recreate and have. In a more on hard mode. Yeah. This is definitely another series also where I feel like I'm umming and ahhing a lot. Although in all fairness, I think I probably do that a lot no matter what. It's very, very difficult to talk and play video games. Particularly trying to say something fairly intelligent and be critical and evaluate a game at the same time. Going quiet here as we're trying not to take damage. There we go, ball of bandages. Guess we could consider it a success if we made it through a run and finally unlocked Bandage Girl. One would hope at this point also, if I unlock Bandage Girl, it also would unlock Super Meat Boy. But I wouldn't be surprised if you actually have to do both. Which is, like, it definitely feels way too grindy. A challenge. And that does pose an interesting perspective where I play games more from the perspective of a completionist, so I don't like it when there's a game elements that you're highly unlikely to unlock or see. Playing a game on Christmas to get an achievement, things like that are kind of ridiculous and just not really fun. So yeah, I definitely would have expected the game to have given me a lot more opportunities to unlock Bandage Girl and Super Meat Boy. That feels like something that should have happened. That should have been forced to happen. Guess you take Blue Baby Soul? This is a really big room to take on with such a slow shot speed. There's just no way out of this room. We have no bombs. Don't have Dad's key. You just gotta fight through it. I think there's definitely a path here to think about having a game where a timer starts every time you enter a room, and if you just survive for, say, 2 minutes in the room, everything dies except for you. Just kind of a consolation prize victory. We have golden key, chemical peel, bringing up the damage. What is that damage now? Still really just at 2. Definitely want a bomb. Definitely want 2 bombs. Definitely would like 17 cents. If we could get 22 cents, that would be nice. Let's see. Okay, bombs and keys. Gonna hope this returns something useful. Wealth, of health. Interesting. We'll hold on to the bloody penny for now, but then we'll try and switch back to Abel's soul later. Yep, and just trying to get through these big rooms. My thumbs still feel like they're not used to this new controller. They have not broken it in quite right. Maybe there's something about the design of this new controller that is slightly off. I often find controllers are a little small in my hands. And certainly, like Nintendo Switch controllers and Joy-Cons, I imagine they're incredibly small for adult hands. Right, so you hit that, and it gives you a heart. Okay. I see how this works. It's not a terrible thought. Okay. Now we just need to not take any damage, and we should be fairly fine. I don't know if there was really a way to avoid that brimstone. I guess I forgot that the brimstone can shoot through the brimstone can shoot through the barrels in jars. Secret room, super secret room questions should be asked. This should get us to both. Yes. And then take that. Yep. With 2 cents. I really don't know what a super secret room would be. Like, my assumption would it would be here, or it could be here. Otherwise, we have multiple places where a secret room could be. And let's just check and see if this is it. No. So we're out of bombs. And we just have to move forward. Of course, this is like attempt number 3. And so we're already 50 minutes in and we're barely anywhere in this run. This is another great example where this game needs a practice mode. Something where you could just say, give me this room over and over again. I need to practice how to avoid taking damage. in that room with base stats, with nothing helping me, nothing making me invulnerable for a brief time. Like, I could see a whole mode once you had introduced the idea of a practice room. I could see the whole idea of having like challenges where you have to go through every type of room with every type of enemy layout possible, and in doing that you unlock things or gain some currency, gain some XP. Alright, we've got a decent amount of bombs. I think our damage is relatively high. Yep, for where we are in the game, in the run, that's fairly high. Okay. I don't know what my health is. You should just... and I am just dying of everything. Seems like you have a really high chance of getting Curse of Blindness. Maybe that is because your luck is so because of the eye patch or the lucky foot. D4 fixes something certainly here. Immediately we can take the base stats here that couldn't really get any worse, reroll, and see if that gives us any items too. We now have the Tooth Up item, and we'll now occasionally do 2 shots. That's probably not the best points to re-roll, certainly, but heck, it's something. So now I guess the question would be, can we simply survive long enough to live to the next re-roll? Clear out rooms, try to get more items, try and re-roll. If we can break out of the limitations of pain, then we have room for success. And I suppose this explains very obviously as to the value of things like with the D4 and the D6, is that it is the solution to a problem the game it made for itself by putting a fairly large percentage of bad items and bad configurations into the pools of possibilities. One bomb theoretically should let us into at least that much. And there is a tinted rock here, so there's a decent reason to use that. Just make it past the first room, first floor. Right. Yeah, there's a couple options there. We could assume that there's a secret room here and possibly get nothing. We could certainly look for a secret room somewhere else, like here, which is probably not there. We can go into the shop, so we should check it out. Alright. So we need 2 coins, ideally, so we can buy one of those 2 things. I hope this is far enough around that this works, and I hope that gives us something we could have used. We've got keys now is an issue. Darn it. So we basically would need the D4 to re-roll us. So we buy a 5-cent key. Gives us exactly what we needed. We don't have a battery, by the way. And these are the same, so could take a soul heart. But we're on basement 1, there's kind of no reason we could take a bomb. Yeah. So we'll blow this up. More coins. Please tell me the super secret room is there. No. Okay, well I guess there's nothing else to do. Wasn't a terrible run. So now we have like chocolate milk or something that is an incredibly slow but fairly high damage attack. And every time we take damage, we'll get another charge to re-roll or re-roll, or refill or re-roll. Darn it. I think every time we take damage, I guess not every single time. There we go. Let's get the poop. Get the soul heart. Yep. So now we have maybe sad onion. Every time I walk in this room, it seems like it's breaking another rock. This still is just Bob's rotten head. Yeah, and I guess there's just not going to be anything else to do, so we have to just move down to the next floor. Yeah, each time I do this, it seems like it is changing up the number of items we picked up. But it may just be changing up my stats and reshuffling them. And if that's the case, then not a lot is going to be immediately accomplished. Mystery sack could potentially give us a battery fairly quickly. And here we have Curse of the Maze. Let's see. This is something I would want to re-roll very quickly. I am not getting charges for every time I get hit now. That's probably because I re-rolled off of that item, but it may just be because the item does not work that way, always. Such an incredibly low range. And I suppose there's a possibility here you'll just end up with technology or Ludovicio method. Something along that level. HP up and stomping this all of a sudden changes a lot. We can just stomp on everything. It does feel like you could potentially use the D4 to just continuously reroll yourself into HP ups and turn a character that started with 2 health into a character with 12 health fairly quickly, at least at a significant accelerated pace. And you really just are gonna have to get right next to these guys. There's battery. And we're going to have to just decide to stop re-rolling at some point. Oh, I forgot it was Stompy. Doesn't mean I can, like, stomp on the poops, the moving poops. I can stomp on these others. Did we get the previous room stomped? Nope. Let's run around the entirety of the revealed map and stomp on things first, just in case we re-roll and lose that ability, which I think is a decent chance. That is exactly what's going to happen. Alright. Reroll. Now our damage looks a little bit higher. And we've got a charge shot. We have a battery, so might as well get away from the charge shot because I don't want the charge shot. Now we have an extra life and we're up to 6 health. Looks like we now have a magnet. And I guess once you get to about a full 12 hearts of health, you definitely should consider getting rid of the D4 or just stop using it. It's not like you're gonna reroll and have less health ever, but I could see just doubling down and going crazy with it and ending up killing yourself because you made a completely unplayable build with the D4. Here. Alright, if I can get the humbling bundle, that would be excellent. That solves scarcity issues. throughout the rest of the game. So we just need one more coin. And we are not Stompy anymore, so we did lose that. That's what I figured might happen. And that is a far-reaching magnifier. I mean magnet. Can grab you all the way from halfway across the room. Okay, we have enough bombs to look for a super secret room. Which wasn't there. Let's see if the secret room is there. Taking our sweet time. Okay, super secret room then. Feels like it would have to be somewhere like here. Maybe here? Well, at that rate, I kind of have no clue where the super secret room would be. It's not worth running around trying to find it. Let's go down to the shop. We are one short. One coin short. Is there any possibility of getting a coin? There's one possibility, but it's too crazy. Would be to use the sacrifice room. Or blow up rocks. I think we just move on. We could take damage in this fight on accident and then end up with a coin. Like that. I shouldn't have picked up that coin on, come to think of it. But moreover, I should just stop taking damage. Ignore the coins. If you pick them up, who cares? Don't die. Dodge the bullets. Ooh, I have another life. At that point, I think I had respawned as Lazarus, so that would have, had I been able to take it any further, I would have been playing as Lazarus. Which is fine. But yeah. Once again, we are back at the beginning of a run. I guess we'll give it a couple hours, since all these episodes have been incredibly long episodes. And I personally would be alright with just saying that's the end of this episode now, but I think it is only fair to give Kane a couple of hours of attempts. That D4 run that we just had could have won it for us. It was just a matter of randomness and poor luck as far as what the items that we had given to us. Mass room fear. This is one of those rooms where if you're given a bomb always in this room, you can always get a bomb back. There you go. Alright, so you put mass room fear, it freezes everybody for a brief amount of time. Not a significant enough amount of time, however, to really do anything. More than shoot a couple people. We'll just take everything. Flies move too fast. These runs just reinforce the idea of playing as the Lost as being just too demanding. I've very consistently not been able to make a run where I'm not taking lots of damage per floor. Even the people that I have seen play the Lost pretty much play it in such a way that they're desperately looking to get a way to cheat and take at least one hit of damage extra. I've yet to see anybody who's just such an expert at Isaac that they literally can play the Lost the way it feels like it's designed to be played. Is there a reason to fight now, or do you look around more? You know what? I don't think you look around anymore. It's too dangerous with those spikes. Okay, so you got pheromones, mass fear. That lets me try to do a decent amount of damage. Speed up. Oh yeah. Isaac is definitely getting exhausting. Yeah, I can definitely feel a danger here if I was to really double down and try and get all the completion marks done on hard. Particularly just ignorantly not knowing that you don't get anything for doing that without the DLC. I would be working myself up into a frenzy where I might rage quit a game like this after a certain amount of time. And if 10-20 more hours of just playing Isaac, and particularly feeling required to play Isaac for boss rushes or for hard mode completion marks, I think would frustrate me way too much. And that is why I think it is better for games to have a more distinctive end, something that is obvious and leads to credits. And Isaac does have credits after you beat the run, but obviously it's designed to encourage you to play the game multiple times. And generally I don't play games that want you to play them multiple times. Or I'll play them once and that's it. And I don't think that's too odd, really. I think game reviewers barely play games once, and game players barely play games once. A lot of times they don't even make it to the end, both video game critics and your average game player. Alright, deals with the devil every floor. We are in basement 2. So, yeah, I think you take this now. Let's get as close as possible to the guy. He hit me, took out my soul heart. See, our little dead bird here seems fairly incapable of doing significant amounts of damage. I mean, he'll slowly, ever so slowly kill Monstro. This is Monstro 1, so I don't think he has a brimstone attack. Latch key, look up. It's stupid, but we're so low on attack right now. Anyways, brimstone does kind of make sense. Plus, we'll take a pill. We wouldn't take the razor blade. The charge up is slow on brimstone, but maybe we'll change that up throughout the course of this run. These red poops can't give us anything. I think it's fairly obvious that we don't want to go into the cursed room. There we got a health up. And we've identified a health up pill, which that helps us a lot. I don't think I'm gonna have any I don't think we're gonna have any opportunity though to do anything else. We're not gonna get any more bombs. Well, we could go in here. And so, yeah, you take this one, and you take this one. And then super secret rooms. Do we have a clue where the super secret room would be? No. It's a secret room here. It almost certainly is either above or below this, so 50-50 shot. Nope. could have been over here. Or over here. Alright, well, we are in a decent position now. We just need a lot more health and a lot more stuff. Brimstone fixes the range issue or a charge issue instead. There we go. Trying to play very carefully here. Algae's resistance. Maybe we could use that in some smart way. Or maybe we'll just use it to avoid damage. There's definitely better things that could have been done with resistance. Yeah, now we have damage reduction, which is a little early in game for that to be useful. Right. Just trying really careful here. Couple bombs. Darn it. Of course, the wafer can't really help you too much. You still have to take at least half a heart of damage, I think, so. Should have. I don't even know what to do here. We just need a really good run. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to like run into the sacrifice room hoping that that gives you what, dead cat potentially, and you still need a lot of other things. You need a really good starting item. Something I don't even know what. D4 probably was a very close idea of what you would want. Let's see. I guess if you got the relic, the soul heart generator, that wouldn't be bad as your potential like first item. That way you could run through rooms early on and try and build up as much of your attack as possible. Well, that went poorly. Scapegoat does seem to be a pretty decent character, but then you have this weird walking enemy that looks too much like the other enemies. But he is drawing people's attacks away from me, which totally can be helpful. Let's see. This is a double large floor, apparently. First floor, basement XL. Which arguably, maybe that is the right way to start any run, is on the first floor have a 2 item rooms. Although I think I just did spend the key to get into the item room. So maybe this is actually the second floor. We ran through the first floor fairly quickly. I have to remember I'm not flying, so I can't just run after people. They're leaving trails of creep. Yep, and I am just totally quiet now. See, ideally I would have been able to make these one last run episodes all in like one day, but it arguably is going to take me a week to slowly go through each character, because it is just slightly draining. It's exhausting, frankly, yeah, to play Isaac as much as you really need to play Isaac. Alright, that sucked. That went badly. There's a decent chance we don't get out of this first fight. Like, this is one of those guys that is consistently doing at least 1 damage to me. Kind of love the scapegoat character. So if you made a Isaac 2 where you could pick your items you start off with once you found them, and maybe you have to level up to determine how many items you can take, and each item has a certain value of usefulness or energy you need. Something along that lines. Yeah, you could definitely make a different experience. A different kind of game. Something that is much more of a level up experience. Oh yeah, I can't reach any of that. Probably not getting a deal with the devil after this fight either. I'm trying to think if there really are any deal with the devil trades that are worth taking. It's questionable. They all feel like they're worth it, but they all require at least 1 red heart of health. And on the hard mode, just having that 1 more health may be better off. So maybe more in hard mode you should skip deals with the devil and only take angel deals when they happen to appear. I wouldn't be surprised if actually you're supposed to have learned just to always take angel room deals after you've found angels and could have fought angels, and that the devil room deals are just never worth it. But it would also kind of suck if that was actually how it was designed to be played, because then an entire element of the game just gets removed as being a viable method of gameplay. You want your additional content that unlocks to supplement the base content, not replace it. Man, yeah, I'm just way too quiet. Way too quiet. I'm not even looking at the right character. That's the problem with Scapegoat right there in a nutshell. Is you're just not going to look at the right character. Suffice it to say, my attention span does not feel like it is high at the moment. I could have sworn at some point there was a pill like Bad Trip that might turn into a full health. Maybe Bad Trip does turn into a full health if you're at 1 heart, but only after the fact. Or only sometimes. Meanwhile, I'm about to once again die. And there's nothing you're getting for deaths. There are no more items, or I don't think even in the DLC there's an item that would unlock just based on the number of deaths. And yeah, you're not getting any kind of XP or rollover currency. Maybe barely you put coins in the donation machine. That's the only thing that really rolls over from run to run. Yep. I'm glad we didn't have too many runs with Curse of Darkness. That would have been annoying. I'll talk about annoying. Half a soul heart for an incredibly large amount of danger. Taking forever. I'm just gonna wait. Just wait till it comes towards me. Or E. coli. Poop when you get hit. You know, as somebody who was classically trained as a programmer, I don't know if classically trained is the right phrase there, but classically educated or educated as a programmer, and the whole STEM/STEAM idea is very prevalent now. I could see the idea of having a game like this that was more around STEM. So instead of a bloody tampon giving you an E. coli effect, you would potentially have a circuit board or a capacitor that gave you some speed increase effect. And then you could certainly have different colored resistors for pills. You could have wire potentially mean something. Different gauges of wire, capacitors, potentiometers, multimeters, soldering irons, calculators, computers, actual chips. 555 chips aren't actually used anymore, but they're a very famous timing circuit chip. Oscillating crystals. It wouldn't be probably as relatable as some of the joke items in this game, but also all the joke items in this game are, half of them at least, are direct references to child abuse. So you definitely could clean this up. I guess the question would be then, if you were going to try and make a Isaac skin that was more Steam focused, who would your enemies be? I don't think that would be too hard, actually. You would just obviously have the enemies be bugs in a computer, and then you would have the main character be a programmer going inside his own computer, fighting them. Same top-down shooting element, except for the difference would be you would be shooting something like energy electrons. Yeah, I think there definitely is room for an idea like that, and maybe that just makes it slightly more appealing of a game to parents. I think you'd also probably want to make the game easier in general. Okay. I have no bombs left. So if I go back this way, I take this and move on. I guess the question would be, who would be the collection of enemies? Who would be the mom's foot, mom's heart? Not too difficult to make a motherboard reference there of a computer. A single core processor CPU versus a double core versus a like 386 versus a 486 versus a 4086DX. All of those original computer processing chips, or compared to like modern computer chips, all of those could be bosses, but you could represent them that way. At a certain point, I think you probably need to anthropomorphize some of the computer chips and things. And while my first instinct would be do something like Neptunia, which is a Japanese game that turns video game consoles into anthropomorphized anime girls in slightly lewd outfits. Not really that lewd, but slightly. I think if you were going for more educational, you'd probably just make humanoid looking forms. Or you don't at all, and then you just have big squares on the screen that are shooting in different patterns, lighting up pins on their edges. Yeah. That would work, and that would be my thought, certainly, as how I would put my own spin on Isaac if I was going to try and improve on something that has already proven itself to be incredibly successful, and in no way probably would be improved by my input. And certainly you could just reskin this game a lot of different ways. That's one thing that is kind of obvious, is particularly in real world pinball, the theme of a game does not matter in real world pinball at all. It probably doesn't help if you have a awful theme around the pinball table, but in most cases, if you have a pretty bad one and it still plays incredibly well, people will want to own and play that pinball table. And most of the really good pinball tables are based on fairly generic themes and concepts. Funhouse is basically wandering around a amusement park, and theoretically there's a fun house. Theater of Magic, it's around the theme of magicians doing magic tricks. There's several pinball tables based around just doing poker. Yeah, very, very just generic things. And ironically, some of the better themed games that are like licensed pinball tables, like Aerosmith pinball table, for instance. I don't know if I specifically would say the Aerosmith pinball table is bad in any way, but it has been the case in the past where some of them are pretty bad when they have a license around them, because all the money in development got cut because they had to pay for the license. So, yeah, a Marvel, like, Disney-themed Binding of Isaac, it now would probably work fine, but if that was the first way it was going to go, and this was originally, for the first time, a Disney-themed game, it probably would not have anywhere near the polish or usefulness or successful gameplay that this has. Do I have enough to go into a shop? I guess I do. I think you just take that and that, and I think you call that a day. It's too risky to try and bomb this to get it over to you. And at that point I'm going to swap to that item. Okay. There's a tinted rock here. And Well, it didn't let me blow it up on the first try. I can do that. I guess we'll just have to go all the way around again. And we can't get anything there. And we really don't have enough bombs to blow that up. Go this way. This way. This way. Put a bomb here. And that way. So I think we have a considerably high amount of health for the second floor. Yeah. So that's what could help us. Now we just need to start getting those stats up and just not take damage. Mystery sack will give us an occasional useful item, I'm sure, but not enough, I think. Stats wise, our damage is fairly high. It'd be interesting if there was a heart that for every heart you had, every like rage heart or something, it increased your damage a small amount, enough that if you had 10 of them you were doing 10 damage. Let's see. Just take this and just trying to work our way to the boss room. I don't even really want to try for anything else. It's somewhat less eventful when you don't have a left trigger item. There we go. Well, a key for a key is worth it. A key for a coin, probably less worth it. I'll take this, but I really would like the pill bottle. So, is there any real hope of that? Probably not. Let's see. One bomb for 2 coins is not worth it. But if I could get flying, I could get all 4. Still need 7 cents. Darn it. That's a scenario where the black heart just filled the room with more dangerous things. Well, this is not how I wanted to get 15 cents, is through taking damage. Right, well. Super secret room. Speed down. Tears down. Look up. Speed up. Bombs are keys. Now we've got a whole bunch of bombs. But we also have the curse of blindness. And I'm not sure what I can really blow up. Again, blowing those up. It's probably not really worth it, but it would give me a guaranteed 2. And that's all I really need. Control bomb. Take it. Like, we've taken a little bit of damage here, but we could still very well win. The problem is just that I'm really exhausted. Like, way more exhausted than I thought I would be. This is just sapping the energy out of me, playing these 2-hour runs. Plus, I've just not been doing particularly well with my insomnia lately, so the sleep schedule's been a mess, and I've just been keeping myself busy doing other side projects, and it's just a lot of excuses, and I guess at a certain point that's all they are, is excuses, but yeah. I feel like I could have easily handled playing Isaac for 8 hours a day minimum 10 years ago, 20 years ago even, but now it's just a little bit more exhausting. There we go. Speed up. Our pill bottle actually is a good pool of pills, if I can speak. So do I want to hold on to bombs or key? I don't know. Did we find the secret room? I don't know if it matters. Alright, so you take this, you pull this, add speed down, you take this, pull that, so that steers down. That went worse than I thought it was going to go. We'd already been here, so that was a waste of bombs. Okay, well, let's just move on. Do I want to bomb these? One bomb, I think no. Double trouble pin. This feels like this is a pin run. I don't know if this is really a fight that I need to use the High Priestess on. Seems like just getting a good hit more and I'll win. Okay, speed and damage up, which now our damage is just at the max. Our speed is 1 higher. Our luck is really high. Shot speed's still really slow. So that would be ideally our next move. Okay. Let's get out of here. It still would be quite a challenge, but 3 more floors and we have a decent amount of items. I don't get how our luck can just be so high and we still get curses. Maybe that's what the Lucky's Foot does. However, is maybe you get an increased luck, but you then are also cursed to increase your curses. Maybe by default you have actually very little chance of running into a cursed room or cursed floor, not a cursed room, unless you do something that increases your curse up, like Guppy's Tail or the Lucky Foot, I'm assuming. I'm just gonna, for safety's sake, kill that with that method. I guess we want charges, so this is an odd layout for a floor. This is caves 2, not Mom's Foot, obviously. Tried to get all 4 of them at once. Didn't quite work. I did get a couple of them. You can see we're doing a fairly large amount of damage. And our shot speed too are going up. Krampus. It would kind of suck to end up training for the head of Krampus, but I could see doing it. It's funny, you've got a chest in the head of Krampus that room too. Yeah, I think head of Krampus will prove to be more useful. Take it with us. Yeah, stats wise though, I guess shot speed and range would be what you'd want increases. Like, otherwise you really don't need anything. And I guess our goal will be to pull off more pills that way. just pop that here. It does kind of feel like there would be a slightly interesting maneuver. Let's think about that one. Let's see. If we go into a secret room here, that's only one bomb. And then if we blow up this, that can get us to it. Yep, if there was some item you could get that would take all the bad pills you've taken in a run and turn them into good pills, that would have been an interesting twist, certainly. Okay, we've got speed down, question mark, bombs are key. Just gonna have to go into a lot of these rooms and figure out what these pills do. Okay. So we take this, go down here. Holy water. Not particularly interesting item. We go this way. Looks like we're going to have enough coins to buy whatever we want in the shop. Really, at this point, if I just beat Mom's heart, I don't even know if I want to continue to try and go further. I will, but boy, you definitely need to just take a break after a couple of losses, after an hour. There's just not enough room for... Alright, well, we'll pop Pandora's box here. Take a couple soul hearts. Damage and range up. This is working out very nicely. The only thing we really could like to have now would be a flying ability. And I think we'll keep our bombs. And let's see, we'll take a pill. Then we'll go in this room. Could use some more soul hearts, I guess. That too would help us move on. 2 is down, bombs are key. We'll go ahead and pop one of those. Just so we have slightly more bombs. 2 is down, 2 is down. Just more going on. Balls of steel. So we just want to now increase our chances of getting the balls of steel, I guess. Pills. Maybe that is just luck alone that would affect that. Okay. Did we find a secret room? No. Did we find a super secret room? No. Let's test this. Okay. Well, at that rate, should have looked better. We did find a secret room. We were just looking for a super secret room, I guess. I'm not sure there even is one. I have all these pills. Did we literally have none to take with us? I mean, Tears Down is a bad pill, but maybe PhD turns it into a good pill. Versus, yeah, we can at least take Bombs or Key. The next floor after this floor is Mom's foot. So there's still a lot of room here for failure. And still a lot of room to want to find flying. And yeah, we have 2 floors to potentially get items and purchase things. So still a lot of stuff that can happen. And I'm just for time reasoning, I'm just picking up everything on the floor. And I guess ideally we would want to get to the boss as quickly as possible. Yep, I'm going quiet once again. Oh man, it stinks. Little Chubby. I'm not sure we've ever collected that item. Yeah, we have. We've definitely collected that item. Right, well, this is a good one. Mom's key, because that means whenever you open a chest you get more things. So we almost certainly will be able to come back and get this, and this is just a Bombs or Key pill, I think, so probably doesn't matter. So here's what we want to do. We want to spend a bomb here, put a bomb here, hoped for a thing, but we didn't get it. The sun as a card versus question mark pill. Oops. Pretty terrible room to get explosive diarrhea in. come back that way later. That was a very odd outcome for opening a golden chest with Bomb's key. Put bomb here and put bomb here. Yeah. And for time saving sake, we'll go ahead and just It's surprising that there isn't something that unlocks these paths a little bit more. Or unlocks challenge rooms. Like, you could see a challenge room gold key or some kind of challenge room pass. VIP pass type thing. Type trinket. That would let you into a challenge room when, even though you're not meeting the requirements. It is fairly one note to be only let into a challenge room based on whether or not you happen to meet the number of hearts it wants, which can either be full, all the hearts, or less than all the hearts in one. You know what, let me buy this and that. I shouldn't have picked that up. That was dumb. I wasn't thinking. Those pills are not worth getting. There's really a reason to continue on this floor this way, other than I just don't want to have to backtrack. Yeah, it's just straight up laziness now. I want to just clear the floor before taking on the boss, which is not how you should play. Yeah, the odds of finding the super secret room seem to be pretty low. Hey, I guess getting an eternal heart proves that it's worth looking. Not worth it to go into the cursed room. We've got enough bombs to look for a super secret room, but I don't think we can find it. We can see if this is a secret room. I guess it is. And I guess that potentially lets us. Okay, yeah, I think we stick with explosive diarrhea now. I actually don't think that there's anything else worth buying. We can go up here. We can blow this up and we can blow that up. No, the left trigger does not always place a bomb. I haven't complained about it up until this point on the controller. I think it was doing that even with the old controller, so I suspect it has more to do with just the way Isaac is programmed more than controllers in general, Xbox controllers in general being a problem. Alright, well. HP up. No deal with the devil, unfortunately. But not a bad turn of events. Still, we need to get past Mom's Foot. We need to get past the 2 womb levels to get the completion mark. And then after that, I suppose we're going to the chest, although in all fairness, with just a slight increase of shot speed and maybe some damage reduction, we are setting ourselves up for a nice run towards the lamb instead, because our damage is just so incredibly high, and that's what I think you need, is just full damage or overpowered damage to take on the lamb. It doesn't feel like there's really too much difference though between taking on the lamb and taking on Blue Baby. Okay. 2 of diamonds to double our coins for one last time. Just try and use my knockback to knock these guys onto the spikes. That didn't work. I think poison shots is way better of an option at this point. Obviously, we're not making boss rush. Let's see. Just got 2 guys chained on the wall. In a funny way, I don't know if it's worth taking this, because I think this is the one that lowers your speed down. It doesn't, I think, give you Stompy, however. Whereas, if I don't take it, I'm still in a fairly good position. Yeah. Full health. So we've been everywhere except for the arcade. So darn it. Literally hurt myself with my own bombs. Okay. How do we want to play this? I think we save ourselves some time. We just blow this up and take the coins and call it a day. I don't think there's even really a reason to blow that up. And run. Got a free entrance to the secret room, which honestly I wouldn't have thought it was there, so I probably would have never found it. And blank card. Which actually works. This is fully charged, right? Yep. So theoretically we can get our coins doubled up again fairly easily. If we could get money equals power, that would be great. Darn it. Taking you all the way back to the starting room. Notice that the fires were put out this time. Seriously? Alright, well I'm gonna forget that room and we'll just hope we can avoid it. And ideally, what we would want now is a Hierophant card. Instead of sticking with that. I kind of need to blow these up, but I want to find like a bombs or key item first. Although I guess after this floor, keys may be useless. At least fairly useless. Show me the way to the shop. Whole bunch of red hearts, which are useless. Alright, so we have failed to find the shop. We did find the item room. So it's gonna be either this 2 to the right, or it is over here on the right. That's a sacrifice room. And this is that room yet again. Third time's the charm. See, this is probably a relatively easy room, being so big and just having ghosts in it, but it's my dislike of the ghosts and the way they make you wait and then still kind of make it impossible to kill them in one hit, in one cycle, is annoying. Right, so you start with this. It gives you some bombs. Yeah, take this. And then you pop the card to get to 99 cents, I guess. And you take this and this. And yeah, don't take that. See, really what you would want to do, and it's ridiculous that I'm not doing this, is put in as much coins as possible, and when you get to about 50, double your coins again, and then donate as many coins as possible, even more. is there anything else to do on this floor? Darn it, missed that. Two of diamonds, death guard. I popped a 2 of diamonds. Take this. Take this. And then you just leave this. I'll just pop this. Yeah, and I think that's as good as it's gonna get. There's a pill. Maybe that pill is bombs are key. We found the secret room. We found the super secret room. We've got a red foot version of Mom, so I don't know if that means we ever are going to have them spawn. I think for science, we need to go downward. Come to think of it, yeah, we have such a big build that for science, it does make sense to go with the lamb. And that means if we actually got all the way to the lamb and got completion marks on hard on the lamb, then we would have in between 2 characters gotten a hard completion mark for everything. And maybe that would unlock something, so yep. Let's go. Our main goal still is just to beat Mom's heart. So as long as we get that done, we should be fine. Now we're at like maximum currency, so unless we got damage equals power, there's very little to do. We could find an arcade, I guess, and try and use the arcades to give us a bunch of soul hearts. Let's do a slot machine. Yes, that would be an idea. But generally, I think we just want to rush through here. We have not, I think, gotten a single deal with the devil, deal with the angel, so if our luck is supposed to be so high, why are we not getting those? Does luck countermand skill and reduce your chances to possibly 0? See, our range is still going up. That rendered in a funny way. And we can't get to that red chest. That's a shame. The boss music in this case is not being affected by the time slowdown effect. This feels like tinted rock, so I'm gonna blow this up. It wasn't, so that was a waste. Guess there's a decent chance that this is this direction, the boss is this direction. Yeah, there's no reason to pick up that trinket. Hmm. Hmm. And I really don't have bombs to waste. Hmm. Okay. So here, don't step on the spikes. Might be a super secret room. And in this we have explosive diarrhea, speed up, speed up, speed down. Is there a possibility that we could find a secret room? Wow, I'm surprised I did not take any damage there. I'm just playing out of habit, blowing up things that don't need to be blown up. Yep, I had hoped for more, but I'd hoped to be able to maybe find some more tinted rocks, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Right. Yes, you start by cleaning the edge, since this is the one that really doesn't take any damage until that part is exposed. HP and luck up. Alright. We really aren't getting deals with the devil. Guppy's Paul's soul converter. Okay. So you do that once at least. That makes sense. And I think you probably do it the rest of the times also, because it puts your soul hearts further back, and we're already in the lamb anyway, so I think this is right. Yeah, I think that's the right move. And we may have gotten 2 guppy items now, but it doesn't really feel like we're going to get more. And is there any reason to specifically stick around? I don't think there is. I think we just move forward. Now, if I didn't have the head of Krampus, I would have held on to Guppy's Paw and gotten a full 3 soul hearts for each red heart every time I pulled it. But yeah, head of Krampus is way better than a passive non-destructive. Yes, we'll just ignore those guys. Item like Guppy's Paw, which doesn't hurt the enemies. We have a ton of keys and really not gonna do anything with them. So if we could find a key beggar, that probably would be nice. These times these guys take forever. still picking up coins out of habit when really I should leave them on the floor just in case there's a dice room that would re-roll them. Although, can't really re-roll them into much of interest. Re-roll them into chests, maybe then the chests give you eternal hearts like that. Or maybe they give you soul hearts. I don't even think it's worth it to check to see if that's the secret room. Counterfeit wealth, not useful. We're going to be extremely careful to walk around this. Alright, balls of steel. It's probably better than holding on to the death card. And in here, we're hoping for some bombs. At least. Nope, instead we get eternal hearts. How can we be getting eternal hearts so easily? But I guess it doesn't matter. In we go. Okay. That wasn't really worth a bomb, but whatever. Yeah, still just going really quiet. Yeah, what do you even do here? Like, you're looking for pills and bombs, and that's it. And, like, in all honesty, what you would be doing is dumping everything into the donation machine. But it kind of feels like at this point I'm just stubbornly playing a no donation run. Some made up, almost speed run category. I suppose, yeah, you can gamble, and in the gambling you can pick up pills. That's about all we're looking for. Yeah, and I'm glad that just blew up that way because I did not really want to spend a lot of time on that. Yeah, it still seems like our shot speed's too low, and it still feels like our damage is too low, but really that's probably just shot speed. And see, when you have time slowing down because of your effect and your shot speed already feels low, it just makes the whole game feel fairly slow. But I mean, what else are you going to do? If they sped up the movement speed to twice as fast, on as far as Isaac and his shot speed and all of that. I wouldn't be surprised if a significant number of players could just not handle moving at such a hyper acceleration. Well, this may be it. We definitely should see what it is, but honestly, if it changes our stats, it would be fairly crazy. Yeah. I think 4 changes all the pedestal items on the floor, which, as far as I can see, there might be 1 pedestal item on the floor and that's it. Or it just changes all the items on the floor. I don't think it changes you. So I guess we'll do 4. Do we do it now and fight Mom's Heart now, or do we look for changes and differences? Let's go check out these other rooms first. Should also check out the super secret room first. Darn it. Take 1 bomb. Okay. Alright, this is a weird layout. I don't think I've ever seen this before. There, I just took another hit of damage, which really highlights how this is a bad layout. This is a bad design thought. And ideally what we're looking for is Scuttle fairly quickly. I don't see a real reason to want to just gamble like crazy. Okay. So that's Scuttle. We don't have any reason to really pick that up. Let's see. Found the secret room. See if we can find the super secret room, and let's go hit door. Dice room floor 4. And see what that has to offer for us. I'm gonna assume that there's the doors would be right about there. Yeah, I have no idea where the super secret room is gonna be. Hit it. And that did nothing to the items on the floor, which we can now just look at and decide if we need any of that. Just take the coins. Can't take the hearts. Wouldn't be terrible to get a dark bomb. I think he could help us quite a bit. I don't think I can take that either. And that's Monstrous Lung, which is a charge shot, which is not what we want. And then we've got a death card, which we'll take. Go ahead and just use the balls of steel. Be very, very careful. That was just the same trinket. And then down here, I guess you can blow this guy up. But he never gives you a pedestal item, so I don't know if there is some way to get a pedestal item in the secret rooms. I have no clue what it is. It's probably blowing up the rocks on the edges. Let's see, if I put a bomb here, probably I'm not going to hit all 4 of these. Nope, just 2. So we want to start that way. And pull the death card. I'm just pulling out all the stops now so that we make sure we win against Mom's Heart, which is the thing that unlocks a thing. We just unlocked Glass Baby. And so down we go. Not in a really great position, for sure. Like, we would want faster shot speed and 3 more soul hearts. Let's go up here. We've got a Curse of Darkness, and boy is this dark. Like, this is dark enough to potentially make me want to just turn up brightness on my monitor. I honestly would have been hit by those flies if I didn't hear the sound effect of them. Just cannot even see the floor. It's not even worth it to try and pick up the key. Oh, I appreciate the light. I don't appreciate being brimstone to get it. Yep. Think we are pretty much screwed. My broken stopwatch maybe could help me a little bit. If I got 9 lives, maybe that would help me a little bit, but probably not. Would turn me guppy, so maybe then I have some flies. But I would have to basically find Satan in the next 2 rooms and fight him and get a decent success against him. A lucky victory. And then I really don't know what would save us in the dark place other than possibly just getting a lot of things, a lot of red chest items that helped in some way. Which way do we think this goes? Right or left? Let's go left. It wasn't left. Let's go right. We got Monster 2 trying to brimstone us. He just brimstones people regardless of whether there's somebody there or not. His attack pattern is just to attack. I do have 10 bombs, so theoretically I could maybe make some use of that. Let's see. We're fighting all these extra battles and we're not getting rewarded appropriately for them. Getting a bunch of red hearts. Which maybe that does indicate that if you are going to do a red heart run, you probably should go to the dark place only if you have a lot of red hearts. Because that definitely feels like that is part of the aspect of the deals with the devil and going down to the dark places, having red hearts. Well, it took us nearly 3 hours, but we did get the completion mark on Cain. We have a -12 win streak, and so yeah, that does also explain some of my exhaustion. And we still have a lot of work to do as far as making an episode for Judas, then Blue Baby, which is probably going to be a nightmare. I might consider putting that off till the very end. Then Eve, Samson, Azazel, Lazarus, and Eden. But yeah, Blue Baby in particular, we may spend 2 hours and not get anywhere close to beating Mom's Heart on hard. And then stats wise, we're up to 120 deaths. We are 49 mom kills, 321 items. And yeah, most of these items that haven't been picked up are either based on not doing the boss rush and defeating it, or lost, the 6 lost items that you have to unlock the character at the lost. We have 147 secrets out of 178, so you're talking 31 more secrets, and a lot of those I think also are just unlocking the lost, unlocking boss rush items, things that I just probably will never get done, or at least not until I get more DLC with more items that increase your odds of success there. Anyways, that's going to be it for this this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.